The Star Wars franchise is very expansive when it comes to all of the projects that are currently in the works. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, looking at the franchise, we have Solo: A Star Wars Story, Episode 9, the Rian Johnson trilogy, a handful of films by the creators of Game of Thrones, as well as, of course, a set of live-action TV series and animated ones as well, and a bunch of anthology films. Now, looking at Episode 9 specifically, this past week or so, we actually have been going over the big plot leak that has been all over YouTube, Google, the media, news coverage, everywhere. Now, do take all of it with a grain of salt, as, you know, we always should. But looking at all of this, guys, we also went over how the claimer actually was right on some of the things that actually were about Star Wars: The Last Jedi, well before they even began filming over in Ireland and even Dubrovnik, Croatia. And looking at all of this, it really does raise a lot of questions, because if you actually research all of the leaks that have been posted, within all of that, eventually it goes on to state how Kylo Ren's arc won't actually end in Star Wars Episode 9, or it won't be complete, if you will, by the very end of Episode 9, leaving open the option for another film that will actually go over the two characters of Kylo Ren and Rey. Now, this lines directly up with what we heard a couple of days ago, that Disney plans on abandoning the trilogy format with Star Wars Episode 9 and leaving the option open, of course, for a future film that will involve Kylo Ren and Rey. So looking at Episode 10 as a possibility, Episode 10 could very well be a big thing, and they could definitely go down the route of what Avengers is doing, with Infinity War and then Part 4 serving as like a Part 2 to the overall Avengers trilogy. Now, we do know that Avengers 4 will actually add a whole lot of closure to everything, so could they be doing something similar with that to the Star Wars franchise with the sequel trilogy, where, yes, you're going to have 7, 8, and 9 serving as a trilogy, but maybe Star Wars Episode 10 will be like a supplement for that trilogy that will add a whole lot of closure. Now, I know a lot of you guys have been talking about this, your feelings about this, if this is to be true, if Star Wars Episode 10 is going to be a thing. Let me know what you think about that below. Is this a good or a bad thing? Because I know a lot of you guys have been talking about how it may be a little bit tough to really wrap up the entire trilogy in just one more movie, and that we should at least have one more film that adds a whole lot of closure to our characters. Now, in a sense, it does make a lot of sense that maybe, Kathleen Kennedy and crew, they want to go down the Marvel route because they do see the success with Avengers Infinity War and Avengers 4 to come in 2019. Now, I don't know, guys, I feel like that when it comes to Star Wars, it should stay in the trilogy format, where you have the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and the sequel trilogy, 3 films per. So a trilogy of trilogies, if that makes sense. I think that's the way it should be, but like I say, if Episode 10 is to be a real thing, I don't think it'll necessarily be a part of the sequel trilogy. I think it'll just be a supplement of Episode 9, serving as a way to tell more of Kylo Ren and Rey's story, and maybe Episode 10 could honestly just be a film in and on itself, not necessarily an anthology film, but maybe called something different. There was even an interview not too long ago where they were asking Kathleen Kennedy about a new trilogy that would actually expand upon the sequel trilogy, connect to the sequel trilogy and actually expand it and tell more about the existing characters and maybe even a next generation of those characters. And Kathleen Kennedy even said that that all depends on how Episode 9 ends. And that's before J.J. Abrams was even on board, so who knows exactly where this whole entire thing is going when it comes to Episode 9 and the overall trilogy format. But anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about this below in the comments section. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.